This is the Presque Isle finale. It's going to be a big bike ride today, and I wanted to show you this bridge that I went under to get to the park over the last couple days. So like I say, it's going to be a big bike ride. I'm going to show you the map now. So we'll be starting here. I'm going to show you the green trail that we'll follow, and there's going to be 3 lighthouses along the way. We'll see them pointing them out here. Here's the second one, and the third one is there. Now this is probably a 13 or 14 mile bike ride. Should be a lot of fun, so let's get into it. There have been planes flying at low altitude over the last couple days. That's the first one I really got on film, so I'm thinking there's probably an airport nearby. Now's a good time to note that I only packed 4 bottles of water for this entire bike ride, which seems like a lot, but it was very hot out. So I'll keep you up to date on the water count situation as we go further throughout this trip. On our right, we're getting the first structure of this bike ride, and it's this beautiful little wooden deck area where we can go up and take a look from the top of it. Some beautiful views from that area, but we had to say bye to that because there's still like 13 miles to go and we're just getting started. Lots of wildlife on this trail. This is the first of it. There's 3 ducks swimming out on the lake, and there'll be a lot more as we go throughout the trail. You'll see I make a lot of stops along this, and the reasoning is that I want to get all the awesome shots on the camera. It's just too nice to not document and have to look back on. So lots of stopping, which kind of also made it a longer trip, which depleted my water even faster. I'd say I'm down to about 3.5 bottles of water already. At a lot of these lookouts, the water was very deep, just directly off the ledge. That's not true in all the cases. There's also a lot of sandy shorelines, but in a lot of these lookouts, the water's very deep, very fast. For those of you keeping track, we're in this circled area and we're kind of heading around to the right of the island, and we're going to go inland and then back around to the shoreline in just a bit. This particular clip doesn't look like much, but I was surprised to find a green field just in the middle of all this. Lots of varying terrain in this. There's a lot of forest areas, but there's also a lot of shoreline. It made for a very nice bike ride. Here's the first of probably multiple goose parties that we'll be seeing along this trail. It's just a lot of geese, and they're a lot of fun to film. going from the shoreline back into the woods, and then we're gonna, in about a quarter of a mile, we're gonna end up back out at the shoreline, and we're gonna be seeing our first lighthouse. Coming out of the woods puts us somewhere in this circled area, and that's where we see our first lighthouse. I think it's more of a structure than a lighthouse, but it also has this beautiful dock area. So this is almost like a kind of a model lighthouse. I don't think it's a real one necessarily. I put the bike out here on the dock area so we can take a look and visualize kind of how wide open everything is. Got some nice footage of the boat ramps here, and then I put the bike by this mini lighthouse for scale to kind of show you it's a big lighthouse, but it's also mini. I don't necessarily think that it was a functioning lighthouse. It seems more like a monument. Took a quick detour off the bike path. I saw this signs for Duck Pond Trail and Old Gas Well Trail. I can't do both, I don't have time, but I want to go back here and see what these structures are and then get back on the bike trail. Alright, we're biking back this trail here, seeing what this is all about. I think we found it. Danger, gas well, no smoking. The old gas well, I think. After that quick detour, it's back on the bike trail because we still have a long ways to go. Here I ended up inland again, and what I didn't realize was that this actually connects the one side of the island area to the other side. So it's kind of like a bike shortcut. I actually wanted to continue to the right along the trail, but I ended up taking this inland route by mistake. So you'll see me back at the shoreline here in a minute or two, and that'll be me going to the right back along the trail. I actually biked down, realized I was on the other side of the island, and then biked back across this inner path. Just around this turn, we're gonna see a road in the distance, and that's how I knew that I had went to the other side by mistake. So I turned it around, and we got back to the other side, and we entered the wildlife area. So this is now back on the right side of the island. I biked back through that middle path, and we're going over the bridge, and we're heading into the wildlife area. We're biking down here, and then on the right there's going to be what's called the East Pier, and so I'll show you the sign of that, and then I will bring up the map and circle about to where we are. This is about to where we are on the map. There's that little outcropping, and that's the East Pier. This is a kind of 270 view of the far end of the East Pier, the lake area. And then after this, we will go down into kind of a sandy area that was hidden also on the East Pier. Here I put the bike in the frame for scale. After checking out the East Pier, we're now back on the trail and heading down further into the island. This is the second goose party of the trip. It's near the Perry Monument, and there are a lot of geese here. We took a better look at the Perry Monument in a previous video, so if you'd like to see the entirety of the Perry Monument, check out the Graveyard Pond Trail video. But this is a quick tour of the Perry Monument area and all the geese, and just wanted to give you a quick tour of that while on the bike trip because it was just kind of part of it, and then we'll continue on the trail. After the Perry Monument, there's this nice bridge area. We were able to get a good view of the lake. This was kind of off the trail, and it was just kind of called like a lagoon area, so I biked down this kind of crunchy little makeshift road here, and at the top of this deck there was a log and there were turtles all over this log. So there was a viewfinder there, and I looked through it and I was able to see the turtles much better than I was through my phone. So what I did was I put the phone up to the viewfinder and kind of focused in on the turtles. And you'll see what that looks like when I zoom out. You'll kind of see how the viewfinder looks and how I held the phone up to it. Off the road, there was this very tall pile of logs, so I just wanted to film that. Further down the trail, there was a playground, and I kind of biked the whole way around this playground. There was nobody on it, but it was just what's called a natural playground, and it had sticks and stones and all kinds of interesting features there that kids could play on and run around. So I thought that was pretty unique. So I biked the kind of whole path around the playground so you can get an idea of what that looks like. And I'll try and include a snapshot of the sign at the end. We're in the highlighted area, and at the end of this North Pier Trail, there's going to be lighthouse number 2. This dirt road is the North Pier Trail, and what I didn't notice is this do not enter sign at the start of the trail. But regardless, I biked down the trail anyways, and I ended up in this beachy, sandy area. The dirt road kind of gave out to the sandy area, and it's just a beautiful view of the lake. What I didn't realize is that this trail was construction and it was closed on both ends. You can see the other do not enter sign here. So that road was supposed to be for construction vehicles only. And you can see why here. They're trying to build the world's largest sandcastle. Behind the world's largest sandcastle, there was this pier area and there was this beautiful view of Lake Erie, and there's going to be a lighthouse off to our left in just a second. We're going to bike out to that lighthouse. For those of you keeping track, I was down to about 1 bottle of water here. I already went through the first 3 bottles. It was very warm out, and like you can see here, there's very little shade. Then down off to the left of the end of the pier here, there was this broken piece of pier, and it looked like it was sticking together pretty good, so I went and walked down on it, but you can kind of see how the water kind of comes up and through that. I'm guessing it broke during like freezing and thawing during the winter time with the ice. Here at the end, this either turns into a Navy or Marine type of base area, so can't go in there, but we went as far as we could. I couldn't go back the same trail I came in because of the construction, so I went down a different road, and this road took me by all these floating houses, and this is going to take us back to the same point where we can start biking, but I just thought these houses looked really cool and wanted to make sure I got these on film. And you'll see here that there's a lighthouse replica of the one we just saw at somebody's house. Oh, and the person is also out walking their dog at that house. In the foreground, you'll see one of the docks where people park their boats that get them out to their houses and then back to the dock area. It was time to say bye to the houses and get back on the trail. I followed the trail down to the farthest point on the island you'll see here, which is the Bundy Beach area, and I was able to film some of the water here. And there was also a spot to refill one of my water bottles, which was great because I was down to about half a bottle, and I actually refilled it, but I didn't know if it was drinkable, so what I did was I just threw some of that water on me as I went. If you want to see more of this area, check out my Gull Point Trail video. I biked further down the trail until we got to the third and final lighthouse area, and there was a gift shop here, so I was able to go in and get some extra water, so I no longer had to worry about my water supply, and I was able to check out this amazing lighthouse. This is the back side of the lighthouse building, and the entrance to go inside is right there where that arrow is.
Around the grounds. The Welcome Center was reconstructed from an existing garage.
The lighthouse was open for touring today, so we were able to go in and look around at some of the historical items within the lighthouse, and then we were able to go up to the top of the lighthouse with really nice views. Here's a person walking for scale. After checking out the views from the top of the lighthouse, it was time to go back down the stairs, and I wanted to try and film this and show you how steep this stairwell was. They also let us up into this second floor area to kind of take a look around and see where the lighthouse keeper might have lived. Leaving the lighthouse area, it was a straight shot back towards the car, so we biked down the road and we stopped at a few shorelines along the way to get some of these nice views before heading out. After these shorelines, I have some quick footage of a thunderstorm that I encountered on the trip back from Presque, but that concludes our journey and our adventures at Presque for the present. There's a chance I'll be back in the fall or winter or other times to explore the remainder of the trails that I didn't have the opportunity to explore this first time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.